Okay, it's recording.
So I'd like to call this meeting to order, May 3rd, special council meeting. Just want to remind everybody of the declaration of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. So we'll move right down to committee and staff reports. Jordan, are you gonna, I'll let you, if anybody has any questions, we'll go over it line by line, I guess. Is that how? However you want to do that, Jordan, and then Debbie can fill anybody in if you need to know where the monies are coming from. That particular. There's some highlights. Debbie's highlighted where the money is coming from and what we're spending money on. So if you want to go ahead, Jordan.
Okay, so you want me to go line by line then on it?
Is that going to be easier for everybody?
Sure.
For the budget changes, I guess?
Yeah, just where you made the adjustments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at the sheet that Lindsay sent out on the agenda.
Jordan, do you want us to put it on the screen?
The budget?
Sure,
I
I
can
got it
share
on.
screen if you want.
On my phone.
Oh, wrong mouse, sorry.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, you want to go over that page? Okay.
Is that what you want? No, I'm just
No, that's
bringing
fine.
it up.
I was just gonna go over the sheet that you attached to the agenda with all the changes on it.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so I guess start at the note, I guess everyone's seen, we required 2.23 million, which would have gave us an increase of 52.95% over last year's budget. Obviously, we couldn't adjust the taxes that high, so we went through the sheet, and these are kind of the changes that we had addressed or found. Open to any discussion on any of these lines, but first one, just general government, just based off of last year's numbers is why we reduced this. And we had an increase in banking fees on the next line. Adjusted for vested properties, these are the properties we just recently sold in the tax sales. Debbie, can you explain where the 15,000 comes from out of the 88,000?
The original 88,000 was going to come from the working funds reserve. However, we have been at this moment anyways, successful with the two different tax sales, and those total costs would be about $84,000, but there was still one tax sale that wasn't successful. It's around 8,000. And then there was still, we still have to budget for different requests for reconsiderations throughout the year. So instead of budgeting 88,000 to come from working funds, we dropped it down to 15,000. That doesn't affect the overall outcome, but it's showing you that we're not using 88 from working funds. We're only using 15 from working funds.
Okay. There's an adjustment in the insurance rate this year. The snow plowing, obviously we had a pretty light winter, and we've already had the bulk of the snow plowing for 2021 finished, so we knew we were going to come in a little bit under, unless we end up with a big snowfall from November, December of this year. Arena wages are down because of COVID. The arena's been closed most of the year. Obviously, the ice rental revenues followed stream with that. Park adjusted staff wages, there's a small increase in that this year. As well as student wages this year, we don't have any college students, so everyone's going to be starting a little bit later. That's why you're going to see a little reduction there.
Okay.
Riverside Park. Debbie, do you know where the decrease came from in that one, of the 1,000?
After speaking with Ken, he felt that the 1,500 was a little too high for this year, for what needed to be done there. That doesn't include wages, that's just,
Upgrades.
Just the ball
yeah,
field.
yeah,
Just
Yeah.
Maintenance.
maintenance, yeah.
Maintenance on the ball field, yeah.
Okay, the next one, unfortunately, community days aren't happening this year, we all know, so that's gonna be a major decrease in cost there from the 31,000 to 2,000. Revenue supplements, I can let Debbie speak on this one as well, since it's a,
That's, so, our assessments from 20 to 21 to 22 will not change within the last year, this year, and the next year. However, there will be some subs that come in. It does take anywhere up to 3 years to actually receive subs. So even though we know that the development is completed, we still may not receive that sub for this year. But there has been a couple, well, one new build from last year that we're hoping we'll receive for this year. So we did increase it according to the new build from last year that we hope we receive for this year.
revenue from the Algoma Manor one-time payment. We don't budget for this because we don't know if we're gonna get it. I think this is year 4 now, Debbie, that we've received the one-time payment.
I think it might
What?
even be
I
5,
did
Jordan.
5, yeah.
5,
Yeah.
so this is when they were considered a not-for-profit and they were tax exempt. So we didn't see any payment. We're supposed to see a payment. They gave us a one-time payment. That was 5 years ago, and we've got it every year since, but
Yeah.
try not to keep it in the budget just in case it doesn't happen. So we don't want to rely on that, 108,000. Couple small ones here of a couple $100 with revenue tax, commissioning fees, the dog stations. I believe that goes with our dog catcher. Then there's some capital items in here for the SCBA tanks. It'll be $10,000 to replace what they need for the fire department that will come out of reserves. Gear cleaning as well, there's $2,500 coming out there. Their Carhartt jackets they requested were at $4,400. We took it down to $2,000.
Oh, sorry, I was looking. I have too many mouses here. How's that? Okay.
One of the major ticket item on this reduction is the capital for a new fire truck.
Yeah.
Right now, we have, I think, $85,000 in a reserve allocated towards a fire truck. In reality, most likely what we'll do is we will finance a truck anyways. So I don't feel that we need to have the full 475 allotted for it. Even if we did have that money set aside, we're most likely going to finance it anyways. So right now with that 85,000 in the bank, we have a nice size down payment when we do go to finance for a new truck. And I just seen an email from Ken and Scott kind of being circulated about really sitting down and getting serious about talking about a new truck. So it is on the radar, and hopefully we can find some funding for that.
It would finance that over, like, if the truck's got a lifespan of 30 years, we'd finance it over 30 years as far as the budget goes.
Yeah, I think it would be whatever the depreciation
Yeah.
rate is on that.
Yeah.
I don't, do you know what it is offhand, Debbie? For a fire truck, is it 10
Fire
years?
truck? I'm not sure, no. I think medium or large vehicles are at the most 15 years.
Yeah. A few capital items here that were added. The mill lane rock along the riverbank infrastructure.
Sorry,
As of
Jordan, I'm
what?
going to interrupt. Jordan,
Yep.
it's not that they were added, it's that we chose to use reserves to keep them in the budget.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so this is all like the capital coming from the reserves. So there's the riverbank infrastructure, which we've seen last year. We had to place some rock along the eroding riverbank as the water levels were on the rise. Hopefully, now that they are starting to subside a bit now, so it's a good time to get in there and do some of this cleanup work. Various road works. This is what we have in pretty well every year. This year it'll be coming out of the reserves. This is the next one's going to be the town's portion of the HST for phase 2 of the Lakeside Drive project. Capital small tools, just ongoing tool purchases for public works. Ken had requested a plow for the trackless that'll come out of the equipment reserve. A couple more small items, the man door for the public works building.
Is that the main press, Jordan? Where they're putting that door? Or where they put?
I think it's a replacement for the door. Like a
Like into
replacement.
the office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just had some blades and shoes for the plow truck coming out of the equipment reserves. The capital FCM funding, our portion comes from our working funds. So this is 12,500 will come from our portion of it. Capital update, fitness program and fitness reserve. Going to take out $2,100 towards that. Capital fitness room parking lot will come from the paving infrastructure reserve of 15,000. That should tidy up that parking lot and finish that off now. The capital senior housing feasibility study modernization reserve. This is money earmarked for the new committee that we put in place at the last council meeting to go out, cover any feasibility studies and studies that need to be done to figure out what we need for that housing. 2 washrooms, change room, one at the beach, one at Peace Park. Looking at having some permanent buildings built for the 2 beaches instead of just using the porta potties there. Hopefully get some more use of those beaches, especially now with the Tim Hortons. There's going to be a lot more traffic coming into Lakeside. The seniors outdoor equipment. This is what we applied for. We were unsuccessful in this one. But we thought we could go ahead with it this year and put it in the budget and get something going for the outdoor equipment for the seniors or for the general public at Peace Park. And then we have some capital items for the ball field, some more crusher dust for the infield, topsoil. And then we have bins, recycling bins and garbage bins. So last year we had there was some money generated from the park and we created clean park initiatives. So again, with the new Tim Hortons, we're going to be creating a lot more waste and garbage coming into town. So we're going to try and get a lot more bins up at that end by the park and hopefully clean up some of the garbage that's getting tossed on the ground right now. This more recycling bins. This was from the STEP committee. Originally they had talked about a sea bin project, which is like a cleanup at the marina. We took that money and split it up and put it into more recycling bins and composting and rain barrels. Just the composting and rain barrels were with the thought of trying to reduce some of the weight going into the landfill of the compost, and rain barrels if we can slow down the watering from the water treatment plant for gardens. This is the highway development. This is on the north side of 17. We have 25,000 there. Hopefully we will be moving forward with the reverting of the water that on the ditch on the back side of those properties and have that ready to go to start accepting fill and get those lots developed. So computer screens for the office would be coming out of the working funds. TV installation, $600. And the post-closure Rose Lake annual levy reserve increase. This is what BDO had identified in our last audit. So this will be the 25,500 will be going into an account. And then hopefully we can build some interest off that money if we keep it in our own account. Library had requested some capital. I believe there's some chairs and desks and some cleaning for $4,200. And our donation that we had passed at the last meeting for the Tree Fry Memorial Center donation of $500. Anybody have any questions or comments or different ideas? Want to see something out of these?
Just to note, even though the finance committee has included the $60,000 for 2 different washroom change rooms, one at the Lakeside Beach and one at Peace Park, the one at Peace Park still may be covered. We have until May 14th for the announcement for the gazebo with the accessible washrooms. So hopefully we will receive that. And if not, they've included $30,000 to build a washroom change room at Peace Park. So that may change is what I'm trying to say before your next council meeting. We have been successful to move to the new step for the marina renovation project. So we worked on that the last couple days to get the second phase in. So hopefully that comes through as well.
I got a question.
Sure.
When we were talking about the closure of Rose Lake Dump.
Yep.
Did BDO not mention that this has to go to Tri Neighbors? Or you're putting Tri Neighbors in the deficit?
That wasn't directed from BDO.
No, but it was recommended, wasn't it?
No, that was recommended from Tri Neighbors, but not from BDO. We already have an account with how much money? 35,000-ish.
Yes, around 30.
Around 35,000 that we have in an account for that closure already.
Yeah.
So that's Debbie's pulling it up.
I mean,
I thought-
I guess Marcel to shed a little more light on that. The reasoning why we decided to keep it or try to keep it in our own account is, say if we set aside this 25,500 every year and we keep it in our account and we can build interest off that, it'll actually reduce that number, the 25,500. And if we were to say we were to put it in and one of the other communities but one community didn't, we would actually be paying more of our portion because the Tri Neighbors would be building interest off of our portion of it and not somebody else's. This way here, if everybody held the money in their own accounts, they would actually see the benefit of their interest. The only way it would work the other way is if you were guaranteed that every municipality was going to put it in with the Tri Neighbors account.
The way I understood that Nathan was explaining it that night, I thought the way he was talking, it was a government that was saying that we had to do it that way. But I'm not really 100% sure, but that's sort of what I understood, what his reasoning of the money had to go to Tri Neighbors.
That's
So
what I believe too.
Okay, we can double check with Nathan.
Yeah, like maybe if Debbie checked with Nathan and get it cleared up. Because the way he was saying it, that the Tri Neighbors Board would be responsible to write the check, so they had to have the money if something happened beforehand. So that was the reasoning that it had to go to them, but I want to do a lot more checking to be 100% sure. But as long as we're beefing it up, that we're getting closer to our thing, I think that's until everybody else ponies up, we probably should do it like this, just hang on to it.
Yeah, because that, in 5 years, that amount of money with what we have in reserve, even at 2%, we would probably make about $7,000 in interest.
Oh, I
Yeah.
understand that point. I really do understand the interest point. I was just kind of questioning, can we? You know what I mean? I don't want to say that, oh, yeah, this is the goal and have it turn around and we have to turn it over. That's kind of what
Yeah, but
I'm.
as long as we put it in, it's in a separate account, so it's there that we can give it to them anytime anyway.
Yeah,
So if they come down and say, you have to put it there, it's not like we don't have it. We've got
Yeah.
it, so.
yeah, that's
Right.
right.
I mean, we made, by doing this, increasing it up to 25,000, that's a big bump from normal, so we've already taken a big jump towards what we're supposed to do, so.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
think that
another
was-
discussion.
I'm just reading that note from BDO right now. Yeah, maybe we'll just double check with BDO and we'll get their opinion on it. Make sure
Yeah.
we're doing it the proper way.
Like you said, you got it in the budget anyway, and it's going to the thing, so.
Yeah, the money is set aside regardless. So.
Because I think what they had to wait, our board had to wait to see how everybody wanted to do it, like how they wanted to spread it over the 5 years to get caught up, so.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Even
I
so,
can see,
that's 5 years, right? Interest.
I can see the board, like if it was just in a general account, then it wouldn't be like a secured amount of money, but when it's in its own reserve. But anyways, we'll clear it up with Nathan.
Sounds good.
All right, yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely check with Nathan. I kind of see the point you're making with that, Marcel, by reading this letter,
Yeah,
because they wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't be able to act on a resolution from your committee because you wouldn't actually have those funds
No.
in an account to do
have
it.
the funds.
Okay, we'll double check with that and see what he has to say.
Yeah,
Sounds
But
good.
I see your point. Okay, any other questions on that before we move on to the, a little further down? They just, Debbie put together these pie charts for comparison from department. It gives you kind of a good snapshot of where our money is going,
yeah,
and the
it's
amount of where it's being
pretty
spent. So,
impressive.
yeah, it really, it shows a really good snapshot of where the money is being allocated.
Yeah,
Um,
and where it's coming from.
Right, yeah, so, I mean, I understand, like, everyone had a chance to read a few of the letters from constituents in town this year that sent them in. We're talking about lowering taxes and whatnot, but, I mean, right here, the money is actually raised by the taxes only cover 20% of what we're doing for our budget. Yeah, we could decrease our budget or not do as much, but I think we want to be progressive and continue on with what we've started here as a council. So, I mean, as long as we keep seeing the grant monies coming in at that 56%, we're in good shape. And I mean, if we start seeing where we don't have the grants coming in, then we will have to look at taxes. Just so everyone knows, transportation, that includes all of our roads as what's in transportation. I know that was a question I had when I first looked at it.
We should post these.
For sure.
Yeah,
it's a good snapshot of, you know, what we're spending and where the revenue is coming from. So people know when they say it's my tax dollars, it's actually only 20%.
Yeah, well, for 20%, we're accessing an awful lot of stuff and getting a lot of stuff done.
For sure. And I mean, this year you can see we used up 10% of the reserves. Our reserves were in a healthy condition. We have lots of money in the reserves. But at the same time, we want to keep that money in the reserves because a lot of the funding is based on that. They want to make sure that we're not just solely relying on funding, that we do have healthy reserves. Will get us actually more money.
Yeah, well, it's like everybody's whining about the government, but if you look at that 50%, 56% grants, that's a lot of money we've been getting. So can't really complain about the government.
No, we've been lucky. We've been working hard at it, and we've been trying to access every single grant possible. And I think that's really put us ahead. I mean, you can see a lot of work that's been done in the last 5 years, 6 years around town. And I mean, we're really starting to make an impact, I think. So.
Yeah.
You know, I think the staff working on the grants, it's pretty crazy what they really do. And then every time there's an opportunity for a grant, there's somebody definitely looking at it now. And I think that it's come in the last few years that we're actually looking ahead to try to get those monies instead of just saying, "Oh no, we can't do that." So in the future, we have opportunity to have a couple more grants available very shortly. So.
Okay, and then further down in the agenda, you see the information that came from the fire chief on the fire budget. He was the only one out of the committees that really wrote a letter explaining everything. So we just want to make sure everybody's aware of this and his requests. So far, we've pretty much met every request on here except for the 3-season Carhartt jackets. I think we cut that in half, so we took it from the 245 and cut it in half.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also raised up their meeting allowance from $40 a meeting to $50 a meeting. So if they wanted to pay for half the coats out of that, they could. Or if they just wanted to find a cheaper version. I mean, we definitely want to advertise our fire department, and we need to recognize them, but that's what was the outcome of this. The one thing I noticed on here was the hydrants, the rental of the fire hydrants. I know I questioned this at one time too, and I didn't fully understand it, that they rent the hydrants. I mean, if we were to take the hydrant rentals off, that's the cost for the maintenance and the operation of all the hydrants. It's no different than your water bill for your household. So if we took it off out of their budget, it's just going to shift into another section of the budget. This is where it kind of fits. That's the users of the fire hydrants. So maybe you could shift it out of there, but at the end of the day, they cost what they cost, and it's still going to be a line item. It's just where it falls into the budget. We're not directly charging the fire department the $9,000.
Right.
Was there anything I overlooked, Debbie, that you see or want to?
No, I think you touched on what we had discussed anyways, unless there was further information or questions that council had.
So the park is a lot less than the arena. So is that because we generate more money from the park? Our costs are way less to run the park?
It's because we generate way more money.
At park.
Yeah, the park generates around $100,000 in revenue. That's the other thing on these pie charts that I think is important, is the monies that are raised by services that we provide. That's 14%. So that's your park revenue your fitness revenue, marina, you know, commissioning fees, any item that any service that we can charge for, we absolutely do in order to make it fair, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's also important. We go over to the park. Oh, you guys are in the way. So you'll see like in the park, we're
95,000.
allowing for 115,000 this year. We do have the meters are new. It's going to be trial and error. There has been a set rate. So we're not sure exactly how much revenue we're going to generate. We know how much it costs to run it, but we're just not sure how much revenue we're going to generate yet. So this is obviously an estimate at the 10,400. That is new to the budget.
And that revenue will offset the cost of the
Right.
electricity too. It's not gonna be 10,400 to the bottom line.
No.
Yeah, we better clear that up for anybody that's gonna watch this after.
Right. So, I mean,
Yes,
that
but
was
it
just-
also cost us,
20,000.
yeah, 24,000 to install.
Yeah,
So,
it was just, that's what it was there for, was to cover the cost of the hydro.
yeah, not only
Which-
cover the cost, we're trying to reduce the energy use too. You have people that leave their air conditionings on, and we have extra fridges on decks. So I mean, we're trying to reduce the energy as well, not just
Yeah.
pay for it. And
They'll make quite a difference when they start paying it for themselves.
that's right.
And I mean, it's not like that money is not coming out of our rental fees then, right? So like you say, it does cover that.
it is like new revenue, although only because we've never had that in place before. Even though we've paid the expense for the power for the park, we've never had that revenue to offset it, so.
Right.
So to answer your question, Randy, yes, the park does make more money than the arena.
How much does the arena make, Bill?
Well, they didn't have enough red ink there, so. But it's interesting that pie chart shows that we pay more money for the arena than we do our health center and our fire protection.
Yeah.
And the transportation along with public works is like, it goes together. So it's actually 30%. And the general government in the office, you'll see it's 21%, so.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments on any of this? Or any of the budget, not just this page? Okay, back to you, Bill.
Well, if everybody is, thanks, Jordan. Does anybody have any questions for Debbie? Like, does it show where any of those monies are coming from, the reserves or anything like? So the final numbers, you can see where a residential will be like 0.025 minus 0.25, sorry. And then that drops because of the tax ratios, that drops the commercial down to minus 3.1. Which I think during the COVID times, I think this is because of some funding that we do have and stuff, it's a pretty important step, because when you look around at the different communities, I see that I think the Sioux is going I think it was just under 3%. Blind River's going up like 3 point some percent. And hopefully, like with the funding we do have, we can keep it there. And one of our major projects probably coming up is the Green Bridge. So we got time. We're trying to find funding. It's not. If that comes, we might have to look at taxes again in the next year or so. But I think we're pretty fortunate we can keep these taxes to zero, basically zero right now. We have some new buildings going to happen on the point, so we'll have a little bit more revenue. Hopefully, we'll have the revenue from the sale of the buildings. Hopefully, we'll see some new building, new ideas coming out of that. We have the development. We'll have some tax revenue out of that. So moving forward, we're in a pretty good position with our reserves for sure. Is everybody fine? We'll bring this to council on the 17th.
Tax ratio bylaw, the tax rate bylaw.
Yeah, so the tax ratio and the tax rate bylaw will be at the council meeting, and we'll move forward. So if everyone's okay with that, Linda, do you have the confirmatory bylaw?
Be it resolved that bylaw number 2427 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the meeting of council held on May 3rd, 2021 be passed in open council this third day of May 2021.
That's moved by Linda. I need a seconder for that.
I'll second that.
Is that Jordan?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Jordan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, confirmed. And Randy,
That this meeting be adjourned at 7:08 PM.
and I would need a seconder for that.
I'll second it.
Marcel? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.